Welcome to Total Apex Sports. This is the fourth and goal. I'm here with Lawson and Jordan from Total Apex Bets and Fantasy. But yeah, we're going to talk about first, the Monday Night Football game last night. Um, the funny thing is, I know this got roasted on social media or whatever. I actually like the Simpsons collab. Like, I think I'm one of the like I feel like it's good as like a simulcast. Like if you have it on another window or just seeing the clips of it, I don't know. Some of it was really funny. Lawson, what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, I am pro whenever the NFL does stuff like that. For example, a couple years ago for the wild card game, when they had it on Nickelodeon, or when they've collabed with
Yeah,
Nickelodeon to do like the SpongeBob Bowl or whatever it was a couple years ago, maybe last year. Um,
Yeah, it was
it's
last year.
it's just to innovate and try and bring in new fans. That's all it is. It's trying to widen their, like I said, their viewership, which I get it because at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. So I get it. I think it's cool. It's entertaining. It throws a wrench into the machine that is the NFL, because we've seen the NFL. It's been joked that they stand for the no fun league. Well, the Simpsons is fun. It's cool to see them put Jamar Chase at and Joe Burrow as Barton whoever.
Mhm.
It's just funny in a different wrinkle. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah. Jordan, what were your thoughts from the Bengals win over
Nostal
Dallas? But
it's
also
a
on that part,
personally, personally, it was a personally fun time. I always kind of like those little things. Sound like great. Like like get on the side, get some coin.
all right. Well,
I think we lost you.
uh, while we work on the technical difficulties, but lost in terms of like the Bengals game itself. Like I guess they're still in it. Um, I doubt Dallas losing another game in Jared Wills. Like I'm not that surprised about that, but um, man, if you have Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, like you're winning in fantasy football this year.
They I thought it was a really fun and entertaining game to watch when Dallas forced the punt after the Bengals got the ball and they go down and score. I'm like, this would be a horrible loss for a Bengals team that, like you said, they're not out of it yet. Now, they are going to need a lot of help this week and in the weeks to come to maybe squeak and sneak their way into a playoff spot. Now, for the Cowboys case, it's another instance of this is just a bad loss. It's a horrible loss. It's just so unfortunate because you get your stop, you give the ball back to an offense that, yes, they're without Dak and their starting center and their star offensive lineman Zach Martin, but you have a kicker in Brandon Aubrey who can kick the pigskin off the football. So there's a lot. So anything can happen, and there's a minute change left, and you have plenty of time. But a blocked field goal, and someone tries to be a hero. It's one of the easiest rules to just get your mind around, and it was probably nailed into their heads since they were in high school. If a fumble goes past the line of scrimmage, if it's blocked as a punt or a kick, whatever, if it goes past the line, do not touch it. Just don't touch it. And
Yeah,
the defender
yeah.
tried to be a hero and pick it up and maybe pick up. What was the best case scenario for that? He picks it up, gets tackled immediately. That's it.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, Jordan, you can continue your point on this last night's game.
Oh, last night's game. Oh my goodness gracious! It was a mess. You have two teams that were desperately struggling to stay alive in this playoff hunt. One's delusion. One's legitimately having a player literally telling us in his podcast that like, don't sleep on us. Why not us? Why not us, bro? Why not us, bro? And the other team's literally racing Joe Burrow's best season in his career because
Yeah.
their defense can't even stop a cauliflower. Jesus Christ, Cincy's defense is legitimately awful. Yeah, you just saw one season stay alive for now with Cincy, and another season with Dallas probably dead in the water, and rightfully so. Dallas's offense is legitimately trash without Dak. Cooper Rush could barely move the ball. Even then, the run game has been legitimately awful. You have a defense that's been battered with injuries. In just then, linebacker Showman is out for the year. So
Yeah, overshown.
shout out to
Yeah.
them. Shout out to our own Tommy Harvey, who's probably saw the news on Twitter and fell on his knees,
Yeah.
legitimately broken. Let's go Dallas, and shout out to our Cincy Riders. Their season's still alive for another episode of Hard Knocks. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Well, I will add that the Cowboys can actually run the ball, but with the Rico Dowdle thing, I don't know why it took this
Rico
long.
Dow-
Like, I don't know
Yes,
why.
Rico Dow, Andrew. Oh my goodness, we're so scared. Rico Dow. Please continue. This Southern
Well,
Emergent Rico Dow.
okay. I mean, I guess it's the Bengals defense. Like, they can't stop anybody. So, um, but I don't know. I just never understood the Zeke thing, and then whatever else they try to do with like Dalvin Cook or whatever. Like, they're trying to do stuff with him, but
No, Andrew, they were all in. Jerry Jones literally said this was the
yeah,
all-in move. Eric Kendrick, the long snapper, Dalvin Cook, and the return of Zeke. All in. And
yeah.
Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator.
I
Oh
mean,
my
I actually
gosh.
think like they shouldn't run it back, but they probably will because like Jerry
Should
Jones
run
just
it back. Well, they might be gone after the season.
Oh no, they should. I said last year they that regime should have been done, but obviously they weren't. But yeah, we'll see. In terms of the NFC, so last week we got the Bills Chiefs clinching, and this week we got the Lions Eagles clinching. Lawson, about the Lions win over the Packers. What were your thoughts on that game on Thursday?
Um, Dan Campbell has grapefruits the size of bowling balls. Like, you have it 4th and 1, and I saw something today that Dan was like, okay, we're gonna kick this ball and guarantee the lead. And when Jared Goff kind of he unbuckled his chin strap and he was kind of frustrated. And Dan kind of looked at him and was like, hey, you want to go for it? He said, yeah, so let's go. Then right when the ball snapped, Jared Goff falls. I was like, oh my God. Because there's only a few things that happen there. Number one, the play just gets blown up. Number one. Number two, there could be a slip. Someone steps on Jared Goff's ankle when he's turning around to hand the ball off. There's a lot of things that could happen. But just the gall that you have and the trust and the belief in your team, they're one of the most physical teams in the NFL, not just their offensive line, but their receivers are willing blockers. And one of the most deadly plays in the entire NFL is a run behind only one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL in Penei Sewell. And that's exactly what they did. They say, Penei Sewell, lead the way. We're going to give it to our bell cow running back, who is, of the two, he's the thunder, gives the lightning. They put David Montgomery in the game. They handed it off to him, and they picked up and iced the game. And my thing of it is, was it a ballsy call? Absolutely. but we're not like mad at it because it worked. If the play gets blown up, we're like, oh, that's a dumb call. You obviously take your points there, but it worked. I tip my cap. That's the reason why we love Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They're aggressive, they're fun, they're physical. There are so many things to love about this team, and I thought it was a great win.
Yeah. I especially think that this happened with Bryce Young too. Like on these fourth down calls, maybe they shouldn't do right under center. Maybe I don't know. 'Cause that almost actually ended up costing the Panthers, even though they still lost against the Eagles. But yeah, Jordan, what are your thoughts on I guess the Packers side? You know, they have a big game for Sunday night against Seattle. They're still in it, but I think I don't know. I think other than Josh Jacobs, like Jordan Love just hasn't been the same guy that potentially we saw like last year.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my laptop. I'm using my phone for this. I use my phone for this. But like, yeah, for the Packers, they just basically lost their chance to win that division. But like, they're still gonna make the playoffs. It's just that like, it's gonna be a more difficult role. They're still a solid team. The run game's been excellent. Well played by LaFleur to play, and by LaFleur, and also by Josh Shaver having a resurgent season. Raiders fans really, really, really love this guy, and they were probably pissed that he's gone. But yeah, like the only issues is that like Jordan Love, he's literally like a mixture of like of a younger Brett Favre,
Yeah.
chucking throw double coverage and praying to God they hit his receiver. And that's actually why they only won one Super Bowl. Why Brett Favre and Rodgers only have like at least one Super Bowl, because they're trying to play hero ball, and Love was trying to play hero ball too. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Just take the downs, man. And shout out to our own Matthew Brown. He's probably having the same thoughts while Jordan Love was throwing stuff around. He's like, this is gonna be Brett Favre 2.0. Let's go, yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, Packers are facing a very inconsistent Seattle team. They're probably gonna get the wins this Sunday, but it's gonna be rough. And for Philly, and well, we're on that. Philly clinching, not really surprised. They have one of the best running backs in the world, on times. The best offensive line in the game.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Laptop's still trying to. Yeah, that's why I have a new PC that we're trying to set up this either the end of the year or next year, either way. But yeah, Philly, best offensive line, best run game in the entire league this season. Saquon Barkley broke a Philly record. That's fun. And Jalen Hurts, while he still has his issues, he's still a solid thrower, great runner, great duo. You just need to get past the idiot head coach that's running the game. That's running the place.
Yeah. Lawson, I saw something. It might be a non-issue, but yeah, there's some feuding going on. Well, it could be internal, but something between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Like,
what's an issue?
Yeah. It might. I don't know. Like, obviously, winning games without throwing is totally fine, but in terms of like, do you think this could potentially bubble up in like a vital playoff game, like against like Tampa Bay again? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, obviously, there's a big issue with this. Like, you're on a 7-game winning streak. They're not asking Jalen to be Superman. They're saying, Jalen, can you throw the ball 24 to 32 times a game? Not in the upper echelon where you've been inconsistent. Because as a deep ball thrower, he's excellent. The only problem is they haven't asked him to really put on the Superman cape and go crazy. When AJ Brown was asked after the game if there are, any issues with the offense, he said passing. That's the end of the quote. All he said was passing the ball. So it's like it's the self-reflection into Do you not see all the good things that's happening with your team? You've been one of the most dominant teams all year long. Running the ball, playing efficient. Yes, Jalen Hurts isn't a polished thrower of the football. But it's not like the passing is going. It's not like, oh, it's a stats thing because in a contract year. They paid him twice. They traded for him from Tennessee. They paid him. They paid him again this past offseason and gave him, a pay raise. So I don't know what it is. It the vibes in that locker room for the past 2 years, they've just been iffy. And they're still one of the best teams in the NFC and in the entire NFL.
Despite that, that's the thing. Despite that,
Despite being one of the best, the vibe locker rooms and Nick Sirianni, you can only shave your head once. I don't know what rah rah speech you're gonna give to say, all right guys, we got to be more buckled in. We can't, if you bring this up internally, I got no problem with it. But when you're asked immediately after the game, after a win, now was it as dominant as the spread or what probably Philly wanted it to be? No, because you're going against a resurging Panthers team that's looked better over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I just think that it's there. When there's smoke, there's a fire, and that just showed me that there's a lot of smoke in the Philly locker room.
Yeah, I feel like like last year they had a good record, and we kind of saw some of the things with like Nick Sirianni come up a little bit, and then like they ultimately got bounced by the Bucs in the wild card.
10-1 to collapse. That was a great time to see as a rival. Clown head coach. I'm sorry for interrupting, Andrew.
No, sorry.
Nick Sirianni doesn't call plays. He doesn't do anything. So like, if you're a head coach in 2024 and you don't, and if you're whether an offense or defensive coach and you don't call the plays, so what do? Are you a tone setter? Yeah. No, he just gets on my nerves.
No, he does call the plays. That's the thing. Him and Kellen Moore are providing the game plans.
Yeah, but he's not calling the plays. Kellen Moore's calling the plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta love the lack of motion. That's what we gotta do.
Well, yeah, I think also like
that's Sirianni's baby. That's all I gotta say.
Last year they tried to do the whole thing with like Sean Desai and have their own coordinators before, bringing him in, and then it's still like, I don't know. The run game's been obviously totally fine, but I mean, well, like you said, Lawson, like the Panthers are like, I kind of said this like last week that like obviously like I wouldn't be shocked if it was a competitive game, because the Panthers are actually favored against Dallas this week for like the first time this year.
Like first time in like 2 years.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. But on the Panthers, it sucks to hear what happened to Jonathan Brooks. It is very good that they did pay Chuba Hubbard like kind of in advance, like as good insurance, and he earned it for sure with the team he's been having. But in terms of Thursday night, Rams at Niners, Jordan, what are your thoughts on this game? And I guess the Rams like blowing the doors off of the Bills defense. Also, the Niners kind of did the same thing to Chicago. But I'm not that surprised about that.
I'm not legit. It was against the Bears team that's legitimately broken. So the Bears are broken this season. I am not like I'm not impressed by it all. Rams 100% impressed. Defense is showing improvements. Offense is still have two beast receivers in Nakua and Cup. Dapper's still throwing rockets. Like it's I don't want to say it's gonna be a close one, but like it's probably gonna be at least a 2-score game, because I just don't trust San Francisco right now. Like they still have their offensive inconsistent. They still lack both. So they're into the hell. Like they're like just don't see the Niners winning unless something goes really bad from the Rams. Like I just don't
Yeah.
trust the Niners right now.
Yeah, I think Garundo has a foot sprain. He day to day. They might trot out like Patrick Taylor at running back or like Debo. Lawson. What are your thoughts on? I guess the Niners and Rams.
I think that it's a divisional game. These divisional games are
Yeah.
always close and weird.
Exactly.
Nick Bosa's questionable with a hip/oblique. I just checked. Trent Williams is questionable with his ankle injury. The only thing about the Niners, they're without Chris McCaffrey, starting running back, Jordan Mason, second string running back, and then Isaac Gruendo, or however you pronounce. Yeah, he's now he's now questionable.
Okay.
So it's like you're down to possibly your fourth string running back. And for a Kyle Shanahan offense, it's how good can your running game be? And now, granted, when Chris McCaffrey went out, he made Jordan Mason look like a second team All Pro guy. So there's no question in my mind that he can make any running back about 60-70% of what Chris McCaffrey is. But the thing is, you're going up against a red hot Rams team. Rams team that's coming off a big emotional win. It was a lot closer than what they thought about midway through the third quarter. Their defense is, I think, outside of the Philly game, they've been solid all year long. We know what Stafford can do when he has time, and their offensive line is getting healthier. They have weapons. They have a head coach that, for whatever reason, they have the Niners number. When you look at the first time they played this past year, it was a special teams blunder that ended up costing the Niners the first time. And this is a big game it's not for the division, but none of these four NFC West teams have pulled away. Arizona's battling. Seattle's barely above 500. The Niners, I think they're one game under. Let me double check. Yeah, they're 6-7. Rams are 7-6. Like, they're all just within a game and a half of each other. So if the Rams want to contend for a playoff spot, this is a must-win game. Same for the Niners.
Yeah. Going to the NFC South, I'm not surprised about the Bucs overtaking the Falcons. Kirk Cousins. I think they have to stick with him just because they invested so much into this year, but yeah, it's gonna. I think eventually, if when Penix, if Penix starts, he's gonna probably start once they're eliminated, but that might take like probably a game or two. I guess what do you think about the Bucs win, Lawson?
Well, the Bucs they beat a Raiders team that for whatever reason Brock Bowers was not involved in the first half. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was game plan or that the Bucs have Levante David in the middle of the field and that's where Brock Bowers does a lot of his damage. And when Aiden O'Connell went down, I'm like, well, this is it. We've seen the Desmond Ridder story before. For them jumping the lead over Atlanta, it's going to be hard for them to not just to keep it, because when you look at their remaining schedule, they still have the Chargers coming up. That's a real tough game. The thing with the Bucs is they have to have a clear one-game lead. You know why? Because Atlanta, they didn't beat the brakes off of them because the first game went to overtime. The second one was a relatively one-score game, but they swept them. So if the records are tied, Atlanta's going to win the division. I still like Tampa. I do. I think it was just unfortunate what happened to Chris Godwin, against Baltimore. It's unfortunate because I really like Tampa as a team. I think that Baker has proved about 6 years ago, I was Baker's biggest hater. I'm like, this dude's a bum. He's overhyped. He's undersized. He's not very mobile. His arm's good, but he doesn't make good decisions. And he's proved me wrong. And I've enjoyed watching Baker in Tampa. I think that when healthy, they're a solid, average to slightly above average team. The only thing is it's their health. and their defense isn't that good outside of Levante
Yeah, their
David and
defense.
Vita Vea and
Winfield's also been solid, but he's also been battling injuries too. That's the thing.
yeah, they've just been like within the first month of the season, they lost 7 DBs due to injury, and it's like, well, at what point who are we trotting out here? Now they are getting healthier, yes, but when it comes down to the division, they have to have a 1-game lead over Atlanta because if they're tied, Atlanta's going to get in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I trust Tampa Bay a little more than Atlanta, because Atlanta. Oh my god! Oh my god! They went 6-3 to 6-6. Good God,
Yeah.
their secondary's falling apart. Like legit, you see that Vikings game, you see those darn touchdowns. They weren't even trying. That Falcons secondary was literally like, hey, yo, you got Addison on fantasy? Oh yeah, let's go. let's throw a towel in, because what were they even doing? What was that?
Yeah, that one.
It was terrible. It was bad.
That one Jordan Jefferson or Justin Jefferson throw, that corner was not even like in the same like stratosphere as him. But
stratosphere wasn't even the same nebula. They all got burned. Like, God, Atlanta's frustrating. They put all the investment into their offense. They gave Kirk all that money, $100 million, and the fact that they drafted Michael Penix Jr. is hilarious itself. My God, what the hell were they thinking? Like that was probably gonna be justified, because like legit 8 interceptions, and some of them were at least one of them was a pick six. What the hell? What the hell are you thinking? Like, oh God, it's Rob Atlanta Falcons fans are training themselves to death. It's gonna get ugly. Like if they somehow lose against Desmond Ridder, some people want heads, right? Some people want heads, but yeah. But the Falcons' schedule is a little slightly more favorable, but even then, they're still like, I just don't trust them. And that's why I trust the Bucs more, because I trust their offensive game plan. I trust how they're a little bit better coach, even though Bowles is very bland, very vanilla to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I trust the Bucs over the Falcons, because like I just don't trust them. I just don't.
Yeah. For Sunday Night Football this week, we have Packers at Seattle. That's the big game, but the 4 o'clock game with Bills at Lions, I'm not sure how much stakes they're gonna be for that one. But
there's probably gonna be Super Bowl matchup.
Super Bowl preview.
Bills still need to keep the need to get that momentum back after that loss against the Rams. Like, they need to win that game just so we can keep with Kansas City, and hope to God they lose a game. Again, they're depending on a certain team from the AFC North to have some magic on them. And for the Lions, NFC North, they just to try and like get that number 1 spot, because Philly's still catching up on them. Philly's still hot, so yeah, it's gonna be a great match. It's gonna be a great matchup, great game. Like Dan Campbell, he's gonna Dan Campbell's literally gonna try and bite someone's knees off for his team. Let's go. That's gonna be the show we need to see. He's literally gonna try, once Josh Allen hurls over Anselmo and Camp, he's gonna have Aaron Glenn go after him.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Let's go.
It will be interesting if how the Bills defense recovers after the Rams just torched them. Lawson, what are your thoughts on both these games?
I think that it's tough, because we saw the Bills, what they did to the Niners in the snow, what they did to the Chiefs at home, and it was a complete letdown for 2.5 quarters. Now, granted, after the block punt, they were playing catch up to the rest of the game. They also just could not stop the Rams. I think at one point the Rams were 11 for 12 on 3rd down.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable.
Mhm.
You cannot expect to win football games when you're allowing a team north of 90% on third down. There's a lot of this game is going to come down to, in my opinion, who has the ball last. Because when you look at the Lions' defense, they're injury riddled to hell. They signed Jamal Adams off the couch, and they play him immediately.
Yep.
And then there's some other potential defensive lineman injuries that there's questionable coming in. I think Josh Allen's legs could be a big thing. I don't know. I just feel like this game is going to be who has the ball last, because we obviously can't like what we saw against LA. However, if there is a loss to coach a team hard off of, it's this one. Like, guys, if we could have stopped them on the fourth down on their last drive, or if we could have just got them off the field 2 or 3 times on those third downs, maybe they come away with a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be interesting to watch. Sorry. But yeah, for Monday night we have 2 games. We have the Desmond Ridder revenge game, and then we have the Bears Vikings. I guess we don't really have to talk about the Falcons Raiders. I mean, if it would be funny if the Raiders win and just let the Giants get the first pick, basically.
God.
And that would be hilarious. But I think if this is like the perfect like bounce back spot potentially for Kirk, if he wants to have one. But yeah, for him, this is a must-win game. But for the Vikings Bears, I don't know. I was surprised that the Bears kind of like no-show just in terms of like early on. I guess. I mean, normally we get the interim head coach bump for some of these teams that fired, but this was just the total opposite. Like they had like 4 yards in like the first half, I think.
In the first half, they had. In the first
4.
half, they had
4 total yards.
It was ugly.
Yeah. This Vikings team will probably. It could be another close one, like just because
It's a divisional game.
Yeah. It could be another close one, but the Sam Darnold hive is going to be MVP potential talk is going to be potentially going up with this game if the Vikings win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the 2 games aren't really they don't have like the biggest stakes, but a game that does is the Steelers Eagles and Bucs Chargers. Lawson, I guess you can talk about your Steelers first.
My Steelers, we got a tough road. We got a tough game this week. My only concern is the George Pickens hamstring injury. He was.
Yeah.
It was said yesterday it was a grade 2, if I'm not mistaken. That normally takes 2 to 3 weeks to heal up 100%. He is currently doubtful, per Mike Tomlin. I just think that even if we were 100% healthy, they are Philly's tough. But on the bright side, if there is a team to potentially slow down Saquon, it's Pittsburgh. I mean, we saw what Baltimore did. Baltimore did a good job for 3 quarters, and then Saquon just in the fourth quarter rushes for 64 yards, including the 27-yard, what would be a game-sealing touchdown. It's this game in Philly. It's gonna be tough, and the only thing that I will say that as to why I believe there's a really good chance we could go in there and win, it's what AJ Brown said. What's the problem with the offense? Passing. You know what that's probably going to lead to? AJ Brown's probably going to get 6, maybe 8 targets this week. And with Jalen Hurts pass the ball, there's going to be opportunities to force these turnovers. They're not going to be they're not going to be long handoffs to the defense, but there's going to be some plays to be made. And if Joey Porter Jr. or TJ Watt could get a strip sack, or if we can win the turnover battle by maybe 1 or 2, dominate the special teams, maybe, and if Chris Boswell continue to be the best kicker in the world, then I think we have a really strong chance of upsetting Philly if George Pickens plays. Because I don't care. You could be the most diehard Steeler fan you are. You could not be impressed of what Russ looked like in the first half without George Pickens. It was
Yeah,
just,
that was a little
it was
rough.
ugly. It was plenty of 3 and outs. It was plenty of punts. It was just, now granted, he eased into the game in the second half. He looked a lot stronger in the
Mm-hmm.
second half, as he has through the entirety of
Strong second half team.
of the season.
It
It's
works.
just it's going to be like our defense versus their offense is a wash to me, because they're a offensive team, even though their defense has been playing excellent
Mm-hmm.
over the past 2 months. But it's going to be can Russell Wilson, can he convert third downs? Can he be efficient with the football? Can he limit the dangerous throws and not turn the ball over? That's basically it for me. Can he play a nice clean game?
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, but one of my major thing is, who's the best coordinator for the Eagles?
I'd
Vic
say Vic
Fangio.
Fangio.
Fangio, baby. That Fangio defense finds a way to crush teams' hopes and dreams, and only he can do it. Only he can do it. Anyone else that tried to copy him, Brandon Staley, it's not going to work. And also, Lawson, do you trust your secondary against Devontae Smith and AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Joey
Yeah,
Porter Jr.
I
and the other corner?
It doesn't matter, because
That's the matchup that you're gonna be like, okay, come on, boys, come on, lock those boys down.
Joey Porter Jr. is going to have his hands full, although he has been one of the best corners in the NFL all season long. He's tall, he's rangy, he's quick. I think that him and AJ Brown, I think it's going to be a really fun matchup just to watch.
Physical.
Like, if you want just to spotlight a matchup outside of TJ Watt and Lane Johnson, that's your matchup. And like I said, with AJ Brown saying passing is an issue, he's probably going to get between 6 and 9 targets just this game. So can Joey Porter, like I mentioned earlier, opportunities for turnovers are going to be there. But when those plays are made, can our offense, continue to do what we've done over the past month? Because the running game has picked up a lot since the Jets game, almost a month and a half ago now. But we're playing against a damn good Philly defense. They're tough. They're strong. They play the run well. They play the pass exceptional with those 2 young corners. They're awesome. I expect a low scoring game.
Grit and grind.
Yeah, it's going to be a grit and grind, time of possession, play field position kind of game. And honestly, the first team to score 20 points will probably win this game.
Yeah. It will be interesting because, like you said, Lawson, the Eagles are probably going to want to throw the ball in the air early. It's just whether or not the plays are there. Because they already are one of the slowest starting teams. So, if they can't get those matchups early in the game, if they're down 2 scores in the third, fourth quarter, how much is Saquon's value going to be hurt by that if they're going to be down 2 scores. But if they can keep it close till half, then they still can establish the run. That'll be interesting. Jordan, what are your thoughts on the Bucs Chargers? I know the Chargers played pretty well against the Chiefs, if I'm being honest, without Matt McConkey.
Yeah, Chargers. This is a get right game. Bucs are still like they're still a solid team, but their defense is legitimately god awful. Harper's gonna have a great game. Running team is gonna be strong. It's a get right game.
Yeah.
After getting punched in the mouth again by the Chiefs in brutal fashion, Chargers are legitimately going to stomp them. Are legitimately going to stomp the Bucs.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious. It's probably not going to be close. You're probably going to see 30 points.
Yeah, speaking on the Chargers Broncos, they're basically I think they're fighting for the. They're basically like swapping with the 6 seed, with the Ravens at the 5 seed for now. Yeah, I mean, how is this Broncos team going to look coming off a bye week against a Colts team that's still in it?
God, no. Oh God, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be another ugly Anthony Richardson game. 10 for 23. Let's go.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna be a close game either way because the Colts defense is getting a little bit better. But the Broncos defense, it's a strong unit. It's a stout unit.
Yeah, overall.
Overall Broncos. I think they're gonna win this. They're gonna win this game because Nitz isn't make Bonus isn't gonna make the dumb mistake Richardson's gonna make.
It's your
Like he'll make
favorite
dumb
rookie
mistakes,
quarterback,
but they won't legitimately screw him over. Like Richardson's mistakes are gonna get worse.
Yeah,
you're gonna see some dumb short. You're gonna see some dumb short throws. You're gonna see mid throws. You're gonna see it all.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a rough game for both offense, even though the Broncos have been clicking recently. Both teams coming off a bye week. We'll see. Lawson, in terms of the Chiefs, I saw a stat: the Chiefs have not covered the spread the whole year. Against Jameis Winston, I think Cleveland has a shot to win. It's going to come down to their kicker missing a kick. Like that's really going to what's going to come down to for the Browns, which is going to be kind of sad. But I'm rooting for Jameis, even though he's on the Browns.
Yeah, I think this matchup, Jameis is the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, all wrapped into one person. Because, like, you see him against Denver throw for 497, 4 TDs, 3 picks, 2 pick sixes. There's a lot of things that Jameis does well. There's also a lot of things Jameis can do wrong. We just saw in the Steelers game, down two scores, sail a ball in the secondary pick. Now, it's going to be this game for whatever reason. It should be 12-1 versus a Cleveland Browns team that's not very good record wise. But
they suck.
I mean, we've seen them over the past 3 weeks. Continue to. They're playing hard. They're playing strong. For whatever reason, Nick Chubb is being really limited on his snap count. I don't know if
injuries
there's
from last season. That's the thing. They're trying to lessen the load, and also it's a lot of season. It's a lot of season, so they might as well be like, okay, we're gonna lessen your snaps, but still, that's what I'm getting.
Right. It's just the thing for this game, for whatever reason, in the fourth quarter, it's going to be a tie game or Chiefs down 3. It's going to be a one-score game in the fourth, for whatever reason, the Chiefs are going to pull it out, and the media come on. It's going to be like, did the Chiefs get lucky again? Or because I do not see this being a blowout. 2 good defenses. You have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid on one side against the roller coaster of Jameis Winston and Kevin Stefanski on the other side. This game's going to be a one-score game in the fourth for no reason at all. No reason at all. This is going to be a one-score game in the fourth, and it's going to be can Myles Garrett and this Browns defense get one more stop.
The funny thing is, the Browns this morning, they waived Kadarius Toney. This could have been a potential
revenge game.
You don't say. Oh boy,
Yeah.
Chiefs are gonna get him. Let's go.
They're gonna pick him back up, and he's gonna score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
that would be. I would not wish that.
Let's go.
Yeah. Jordan. Lastly, we got the Fins Texans.
Oh god.
The Dolphins are still in it after their ugly overtime win. Well, I don't know if it was ugly. It was just like. The Jets actually had some life when it didn't matter.
Oh yeah, they had life, and then they realized, oh wait a minute, we're the Jets, and they decided to lose in overtime because they cannot win in Miami. And this Texans team is legitimately reeling. It feels like the wheels are falling off. Their defense is getting battered to hell. Their offensive line is god awful. Limited terms of what the hell happened to you, dude. Like what are you doing leading false starts? What are you doing in pre-snap talent? What are you doing with these pre-snap penalties? They are legitimately one of the worst in pre-snap penalties. It's bad. The offensive injuries, I thought the receiver injuries won't be that bad. It's looking bad. And Stroud's having like a bit of a sophomore slump, but like even then, like he's still fine. It's just that like he had a great first season. It's just that we had like all these like predetermined. Oh my goodness, he could have MVP numbers this season in his
Yeah, the
second year,
expectations are
bro.
high.
Exactly, like the expectations were so high for the Texans team, and like this team just, the fights are just bad. And if they hadn't swept the Colts, and they're in their own clown world right now, the AFC South just sucks. They are bad. I thought it was gonna be a legitimate war zone, and it is from the least incompetent team in the world, and the Texans are just the least incompetent right now. But like, I feel like it's going to be an ugly Dolphins win because like Tua's getting better, the offense is improving. I still don't like the Dolphins defense logistically and like statistically. Like they're fine statistically. Like I feel like they could legitimately fall apart. But I just like this battered Dolphins team over this or a Texas team that is just feeling very fraudulent.
Yeah, I think like CJ Stroud just had a very efficient rookie year. Like because Bobby Slowick, they did try to establish the run with like Devin Singletary, and then that wasn't working. So they kind of had to move the ball through the air, and it worked. Maybe it was because NFL defense,
and also like a lot of those
tape.
receivers broke out. Nico Collins was healthy that year. Tank Dell emerged as a solid deep threat receiver, and it just worked out. Now this season they barely even established the run at times, and if they didn't, they lose those games that they had because there's a reason why they brought Joe Mixon and they extended established the run. Why aren't you establishing the run, my dude?
Yeah, well, now they kind of have to just because of, Nico Collins, second, third week back, another week of rest for him. So they should be a little bit better. So I'm going to just mention, there's a few games like the Commanders, Saints, the Cardinals, Patriots, the Ravens, Giants. They're not really barn burners or anything. But I do admit, I think the teams the Ravens, Cardinals, they have to win. If any one of these teams get upset by the other teams, like that, I don't know. Like, I feel like especially the Cards, because they're failing. They're failing fast.
Yeah, Cardinals are flailing fast. They need to get those wins going. They got swept by Seattle. Like, you gotta get those wins up. You got to at least try and get that. At least try and get to that 7. To at least get to that 7 seed, even though it's flailing a bit. But hope, and like praying to God that the comedy shows fall apart too. But even then, the Commanders are facing it the Saints. Saints are a legit clown show. They are just bad. Like, I think the Commanders are going to win that one. Cards, they're going to win and get the Pats. Patriots are just bad. They're just awful. They are an eye to see. And if the Ravens don't win against the Giants, dear Lord and God, you are not. You think you're gonna hear from Lawson? You think you're gonna hear from him? You're hearing from me. My ass will be laughing through the roof. Dear God, I will be laughing until my lungs collapse. Lawson might do that too.
I don't think there's any fear of Ravens coming out flat. You heard Lamar post Eagles game, I'm ready to go right now. I know we got a bye week, but I'm ready to go right now. So
he's coming in pissed, Lawson. He's coming in like, hey, yo, we gotta beat this. You gotta beat what's in front of us. Let's go.
This game, not even exaggerating, has 37-10 written all over it. It has
37-10. Lamar Jackson over 90 rushing yard with 2 touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Let's go.
It just
Fantasy players are gonna be feasting.
It literally just has Ravens beat down, etched in stone.
Yeah, that's true. I I guess Lawson with the Commanders Saints, like the Saints are kind of in it, not really, but I mean they're not mathematically
They're fun.
eliminated. Yeah, they're fun. Well, I mentioned to say this because the before the Titans game with the Commanders, they've kind of been on a little bit of a downslope, but they got back up against the Titans. But what do you see for that game? I mean I think it could be with Derek Carr now out. It's
I was about to say
definitely Commanders.
I was about to say with Derek Carr, fracturing his hand, it's no Rashid Shaheed, no Chris Olave, no Derek Carr, no Taysom Hill. It's like this is another game where something weird is. I don't know if it's because it's in New Orleans and New Orleans is going to be rowdy.
Football hell.
Yeah, literally, it's going to be an echo chamber in there for a rookie quarterback, which Commanders are still going to win this game. I don't see any path to a Saints loss due to, no Derek Carr. I mean, there's no path to a Saints win, I should say. No Derek Carr.
Saints are in hell. They're literally in football hell. So yeah.
Yeah, don't say sorry to me. I'm not a Saints fan. There's no reason. There's no. I mean, even when you look at like. You got the Commanders, no Austin Eckler, no Brown's questionable. They're without their kicker. It's not going to matter.
Legit, Saints are in legitimately they're in football hell. They put all their money into Derek Carr.
I don't know why he did that. He trying to look like Taysom Hill out here, trying to like flip, jump over that guy.
God. I didn't even see the game. Like, and I saw the image. I was like, oh, this dumbass is gonna do something stupid. God.
Yeah. He when Derek Carr takes off, he looks like a pregnant woman wearing flip flops trying to run. Like it is
exactly.
It's
like
bad. It's just bad. And I like Derek Carr. I do. I don't care that he's lost, the most games through however many career starts he's played. Don't care.
Fine.
He's literally
fine. Like he's literally fine. He's not gonna take you over the edge, but like he's solid enough to help a team. But
he's a passenger, not a driver.
Exactly. The Saints legitimately thought he'll be a driver. Oh no, he's a driver, all right. He's gonna drive. No. He's a car, all right. He's gonna drive. You're gonna drive you to the street. He's gonna break down. And you have to repair him in the shop with some fancy tools. Like, God, the Saints suck. Their organizational, they're just a trash fire right now. They're a legit trash fire. Like, and if you tell me who has a brighter future between those three teams, the Giants, Pats, and Saints, I argue those two because at least they know what they are. Saints, they literally believe. We can do this, guys. We can do this. That cap structure crap, we'll just restructure it. We're a competitive team. Let's go. Yeah. Even though their core is literally aging as hell. They just traded Marshall Lattimore. They literally are aging. Like, it's bad. It's awful. It's ugly. And they're still going to be in hell no matter what. At least the Patriots and Giants, at least they know they're trash. At least they know they're tanking.
Yeah, right. This might be I've just noticed that just on the slate alone, other than some of the Steelers, Eagles, Bills, Lions, and then some division games, I think I mentioned before, Lawson, but this is the most most amount of teams I've seen just completely irrelevant by early December. It's not even mid-December.
I'll continue. I think the reason why it's kind of we know who the seven playoff teams are. Hot take. I think it's because of the expansion of the playoffs. Because there's no wildcard race anymore. And if for whatever reason they go to 8 where they have it, half league in, half league out, I'm not saying there was nothing wrong with the 6, but there was no reason for the NFL to go to 7 because now you have a year like this in the AFC where We know who all 7 playoff teams are. We just don't know the seeding. And for the NFC,
Mhm.
there's no wild card race because we already know the majority of the teams that are already going to be in anyways. And we still have 4 weeks to go?
It's rewarding mediocrity. That's the thing. Like
Mhm.
you're rewarding like a mediocre 9-8 team to either
Like
get destroyed by a number 2 team. And
for
oh,
for
sorry.
example, like for the AFC, Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Ravens, Chargers, Broncos. The Colts are 2 games back. The Dolphins are 2 games back. The Bengals are 3 games back. Now let's look at the NFC. Lions, Eagles, Seattle, Bucs, Vikings, Packers, Commanders. I mean, there could be a little bit of a chase due to the Rams are only 1 game back, but other than that, it's like
Yeah.
there's no high stress of, oh, could one of these teams fall out? Well, in the AFC, no, it's only going to be what order they're going to play in. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna take basically 2 games for the AFC at least, a 2-game loss
Collapse.
losing streak.
Collapse.
Yeah, it would be but at least the NFC definitely there is at least a little bit more parity with it's just the NFC West. That division definitely has the most parity. But yeah, Lawson, any potential upsets for this week? I guess you can count
Ooh.
the spread and stuff.
I mean, if you really want to count, any potential upsets, I mean, the Steelers getting 5 flat. I mean, depending upon the sports book,
Mhm.
5.5, depending upon where you can get it. But for potential upsets, I mean, if you want to call Buffalo beating the Lions, I mean, the Lions are favored by
Yeah.
2.5. Depending,
Mhm.
once again, it all depends on the sports book you use. Surprisingly, I think the Bucs have a really good chance of beating the Chargers, and it's due to outside of there's there's the Chargers with J.K. Dobbins, and there's the Chargers without him, and he's ruled out already this week with that knee injury. So if they're not going to be able to really move the ball outside of a couple Lad McConkey passes. Now, that's not saying that Lad McConkey can't take over a game, because he can. Look what he did in it. Look what he did in Atlanta. He was fantastic. I just think that's a really good chance of going into LA and upsetting the Chargers.
Yeah. Jordan, what have any final thoughts for this game slate or any potential upsets?
Potential upset, I swear to God. I'm still thinking Commander Saints could be a legit ugly. Is going to be an ugly game. I do think it could have a chance to get an upset unless the Saints do something the Comics do something real stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, Falcons, Raiders. 2 teams are trapped. 2 teams are just bad. They're looking bad. One legitimately is tanking for a number 1 overall pick, and one is just legit falling apart. I think one of them has to break. And I have a feeling Raiders might win.
Yeah. I'll let you talk on your Giants a little bit, Jordan.
Why we need to talk about them? They're irrelevant. They are irrelevant to all of us.
No. I'm saying with
team. They literally are flying planes over MetLife saying it's trash, John Mara, even though John Mara is the legit source of it all. So yeah, this is gonna be a relevant team for the next 10-15 years, and we're drafting Cam Ward, and it's gonna be a disaster. Let's go. I'm so happy.
Well,
Let's go.
Well, I guess this could apply to Raiders fans, but what are your thoughts on them potentially trading back and then getting another first rounder to get 2 first-round picks for this year?
Okay. Who's gonna be the sucker? That's the thing. Who's the sucker?
I could
do the Raiders. They could give up their whole entire draft.
I mean, I'm
continue.
Like,
yeah,
give
I
it
was
the
gonna
Raiders, we can
say,
give it the Pats. They're suckers.
I was gonna
Like-
say it seems like the Shador Sanders to Las Vegas is a genuine connection.
God.
But if they don't end up with the first pick and like the Giants have it, and then let's just say the Jags end up with the second pick, yeah, the Raiders kind of get screwed over there. Lawson, what were your take on that?
I'm always pro. If you have a top 3 pick and you're not in love with anybody, there's no reason to not trade down and just get more assets. There's no reason. I'm always, once again, unless you have a Trevor Lawrence coming out, or a Caleb Williams, or an Andrew Luck coming out, if you have the number 1 pick, just go ahead and trade back. There's no because someone's going to give you a haul. Because someone's always going to need a quarterback. There's always going to be a blue chipper coming out, whether if you like them or not. There's just someone's always going to be coming out, and so there's no point in not trading back, acquiring more picks, because you know, just that great example. Look what's going on with the Niners. They're injury riddled to hell because they gave up 3 first-round picks to get someone who didn't work out.
Yep, and that should have gotten someone fired, but nope. Nope, Brock Purdy saved their jobs.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
That trade's going to haunt that trade's haunting the Niners. In
Jordan,
no way than one.
Even if they take a QB round 1, obviously, I mean, would you be surprised if they go after a free agent quarterback this offseason?
No, you gotta get a bridge. At this point, you gotta get a bridge quarterback. Get a bridge, help him develop.
Yeah,
like James Winston, he can carry a locker room to at least 4 or 5 wins. Like, at this point, you just need to get away from the buffoonery. That's just God, it's been bad.
Right.
But yeah, like, get a bridge quarterback, draft the future quarterback. I swear to God, this card's affecting me. That's the legit part. If it's a Beck or like a Jackson Dart, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with Ward. I'm still not a fan of Shador Sanders, but I won't be mad if they pick him first overall because at least he has some talent. But yeah, it's gonna be ugly. I'm gonna get a lot. I just draft night. You're gonna see me on our live stream. Probably gonna be packing some 6-packs in me. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. On a positive note, Lawson, to close things out. Yeah, I heard that the Steelers are probably going to re-sign Russ and make him the starter moving forward. Would that mean they would also re-sign Fields as well, or would you think that they would just look somewhere else for a backup, like Russ has solidified his role?
I've seen reports that they want to keep both. I have no problem in keeping both due to, like, we still bring in Fields for certain packages and zone reads and stuff like that. The only issue is our quarterback room's not going to cost $2 million anymore. To re-sign him, it's going to be a bigger chunk of the pie of the salary cap.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the number, honestly.
Okay.
And Russ is getting paid by the Broncos, so you might be good on that. So.
Well, yeah. I think he would.
Fields is a little more iffy, but like, you got at least keep some youth in the quarterback position. Fields can be fine. It's just that, like, you just need a good offensive coordinating and like a good game plan to help him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still the biggest Arthur Smith fan. Like, again, QBR run, 4th and 1. Dude, what are you doing?
Well, yeah. Wait. I guess what's your take on kind of like when they have Fields, and I mean Zach could attest to this as well, but when Fields is in there,
you at least have to give the defense the fear. Maybe he'll throw it, but whenever he comes in, it's a zone read, and I'm not the only one that sees that. Other Steeler fans aren't the only one that sees that. The defense sees that. The defensive coordinators are seeing it. So, like, at least you let him use his arm just to keep him guessing, just keep it in, just to install a little bit of fear into the defense's mind that, oh, if he pulls it, he might throw it. That's my only thing.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for the 4th and Goal at Total Apex Sports. Plug your social. Where can they find your work, Lawson?
Check me out on Twitter at Lawson_1226. You can see on your screen. Also at Total Apex Bets, we do weekly game slips, and if you like free money, go check us out.
Yeah, I saw you on a few of them either last week or the week before. You cashed in pretty heavily. Yeah, Jordan.
You can check out my right Total Apex or Total Apex Fantasy, all that good stuff. You can check me out here. You can check me out on other platforms out there. You can also check out my social media, JSmell6898, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, JSmell79 TikTok, and yeah, football's coming in football coming in Thursday. Let's get those bets going on Total Apex Bets. Let's get them going. I swear to. And let's see. And if the Steelers win, we're gonna see some Yinzers out on the streets, out on the Philly street. They're probably gonna be streaking with Lawson around. He's gonna be like this. Let's go. We might see
waving my terrible towel around.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it.
Sack money around. Let's go. And football. Let's go.
Yeah. Catch us tomorrow. We're gonna be covering stuff on the fantasy side for this week with the fantasy playoffs.